Quick disclaimer before we continue on with the video. One being, if you have a keen eye, you might have noticed I wasn't revving the car all the way out to 9,000 RPM in a few of those clips. And the second part is the check engine light was on. Now, the check engine light being on is not an unusual thing for a VW and Audi product, but when I was driving the car down to that back road that I recorded most of everything on, during a higher speed run, at 9,000 RPM, the car threw a multiple misfire fault. Not sure what caused it. The car ran completely fine, but it threw the fault and then went into limp mode. Anytime after that, as soon as I would get anywhere close to 8-ish thousand RPM, it would do the same thing. It would go into limp mode and light up the dash. So to save myself the trouble, I just didn't rev it out. Also, another problem we had is I had very limited time with the car. I had it for a few days, but I didn't have all day to spend with it. So the day I had for the most amount of time to record, the car was halfway in limp mode the whole time. Which just means that I will have to get my hands on the GT3 again, probably in a more aggressive setting, and really wring its brains out. It's unfortunate, it's life. I don't know what caused the fault. Maybe the car just needs a tune-up. Maybe it's some sort of limiter on it. I am not sure. It kind of sucked to get limited to that and not really be able to wring the car out anymore. And I was obviously out of my element being far away in Texas.
Man, I still go. Hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range, cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief.
First of all, I apologize for all the noise. This car has an aftermarket exhaust. So right now we're at 67 miles an hour in 7th gear, and I'm gonna have to speak over the exhaust. But it is absolutely worth it. This thing sounds, it's weird to try to explain to somebody this sound. Car reviewers always say this one thing, that they say don't meet your heroes. am a little bit, more than a little bit disappointed that I couldn't get the amount of footage I actually wanted to out of the GT3. It was kind of a rush thing and it was kind of last minute, but that car on the street, you don't really get the full experience. And I am a little bit mad at myself. I did not get to record the full experience. Now, the one thing you don't see on the other side of the camera is the first day I spent with the car, where everything was nice and dandy. I was just getting the feel for it. I was sliding it around, took it on some back roads, actually got the full GT3 experience, and I was honestly on cloud 9 with it. I was completely immersed, having the best time of my life with this car. And I am a little bit bummed out and a little bit angry I didn't get to share that with you guys. So as it stands, this is where we're going to leave the video off. However, now I am on a mission to get my hands on a GT3 again, and I want to do it in a more aggressive setting, not on the back roads somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Texas. I'd like to get a GT3 out on track and actually bring it out and see what I could get out of it. Thank you for watching. I much appreciate it. We'll be back to regular scheduled programming next week. We'll be back to it. Don't you worry.